What's up, everybody? That time of the day, that time of the week.
That time of the month.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the Ultimate Ears Studio.
I'm Big Papa.
And I'm Jeff.
And you're listening to the good,
The band.
and the ugly. Hey, we turned that around.
Yeah, we did.
Totally.
Totally.
Holy shit.
I like it.
I wasn't sure if you're going to be able to follow along
I got it.
because I threw you off a little.
A tad.
How you doing, brother?
Good, man. You?
Good. Things good with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't we go see a band the other night?
Yeah. 2.
Who was it?
Dangerous Type and Ryder
Oh, that's right, too.
with
Ryder.
Ryder
Yeah. Local fans and favorites and one of our biggest shows.
stuff.
So hopefully this episode kicks Ryder's ass. No offense, Daryl.
Yeah. DR, if you're watching and or listening.
Daryl, we're sponsored by Ultimate Ears. You're not. And if you're cool, you're sponsored by Ultimate Ears. Only cool people
Only cool.
are sponsored. I have to say it like 11 times.
You got about 8 more to go.
No, that's all right. Well, I'm sure we'll fit it in.
We'll fit it in somewhere.
So we have a great show today.
Yeah.
We have a husband and wife duo that's
Yes.
coming on and have just how do you even describe it? Just great history
Yeah.
with themselves, with other musicians,
with the bands
with
they're
bands
in
that they've been in.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. So
Yep.
let's just
jump right in.
and we're going to introduce Chris and Ashley Reeve to the show. All the way from is it Las Vegas or are you in Los Angeles? You're in Las Vegas, right?
We're in Las Vegas.
There you go.
There you go. How you guys doing?
How are you?
Thanks for having us.
Oh, my
We're
God.
Oh,
happy to be
certainly.
here.
So thrilled. People don't know it. You know, one of the main things is your Cher crew, Ben Morrow, Hulkstra, Sutter, that have
Yeah.
been on the show. We had to have you on.
Yes.
Aw, thank you so much.
And
We really
and
appreciate it.
Chris, you know, is an added bonus
Absolutely.
because your daughter is going to lose her
She's
mind.
going to lose her mind when she finds out, I'm not going to reveal it yet.
No, we're going to let them tell it.
Yep.
But I had to say Cher. You know? I mean, they have to have stuff to talk about. you know?
Yes.
And just so thrilled to have you here. And Jeff, Chris also is
And Ultimate Ears.
Ultimate
Oh,
Ears.
yeah, someone said Ultimate Ears.
Ultimate
Yes.
Ears. Nothing sounds better in your ear than
Then
the ultimate
Ears.
ears. Yeah, and I'm sure if you had
UE
the
11s, man, all day long.
what are you using now?
UE 11s.
Yeah, the live 11s. These are
Oh, I don't have the live ones.
I'm
Someone
sorry.
else does.
I'm sorry. These are the live
Look at him.
ones.
Oh.
When I was getting fitted
that
for my Ultimate Ears next to Debbie Gibson, I
Yeah.
just wanted to say, hey Debbie,
You are right next to her.
I can almost touch you.
I can almost touch you, but that bodyguard
Bodyguard with a dick.
was, no.
But that I had just left you, I think, Ashley, saying hi, and then I went over and they did my scan, and she was getting her scan at the same time, and
Oh, that's fun.
and I'm like,
That's fun.
Debbie Gibson right there.
Oh my god, I love that.
Did they give you the digital one
Yeah.
with the thing? And it's so cool.
Oh, I loved it. It was awesome.
Like Star Wars.
The only problem is I'm going, man, if he gets in there, because the camera's there too, and I'm like,
If he gets in
God,
a
I
little
hope
further.
I clean that out good, because I'd be very,
Oh my god. I remember the first
They'll
time
know.
I ever had to get I am molds done, and it was actually my first big pop act with Adam Lambert, and I was so embarrassed with like this incredible like giant plug of wax that they pulled out of my head, and everyone in the band saw it, and it was like a rat, and it was like, oh my god. Like, this is their like first impression of me. Awesome.
hey, you know what?
Hey, guys, I'm new here, but check this out.
Debbie Gibson's,
Yeah.
the inside of Debbie Gibson's ears
funny.
were beautiful.
Well, I was gonna. If you say sexy,
They were lined in
Pretty.
satin,
If you said sexy, you were out of here.
sexy lobes. No,
They
Jeez.
probably smelled amazing.
like
Jeez.
peaches.
Oh man.
Wait, I have it. The plug they pulled out here somewhere. I kept it.
Next time you see her, you can have her sign it.
No, but you know that our friend had.
Imagine if you got a duplicate of her ear canal.
Well, you know, there are groupies around the world that did their own version. They call themselves the Plaster Casters.
Yes.
You know who I'm talking about.
I do.
Ooh.
Use your imagination.
That's a real thing?
Kiss
Oh,
wrote,
yeah.
Kiss wrote a song
That
about
Kiss
her.
wrote a song about her.
Yeah.
Well, there's a group of them.
It's called Plaster Caster. Check it out.
And it's real.
And then go look at the story.
And the tour manager that we were talking about earlier, I'm not going to mention this tour manager's name,
Oh, yeah.
but that person and I today were talking about that.
Oh,
and
really?
They said, yeah, that song's real.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, get out.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I've seen some interviews and read a few things about that, and she actually put out a book
Yeah,
and has pictures of all the people that she did.
literally.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I mean, we're talking like Jimi Hendrix and all the guys. I think most of the guys from Kiss and
Whore to the stars.
yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, back to you.
Anyways, yeah. Good segue.
Back to you.
So, so that's real. And Ultimate Ears. There you go. Ultimate Ears, Ultimate Ears, Ultimate Ears.
Ultimate is.
Ultimate ears.
Ultimate Ears. Oh, listen. See?
that-
Yeah. What are you saying, Jeff?
It's like a chorus.
What are you saying, Jeff?
Ultimate Ears.
Yes, you are.
I am.
Strange.
Write a
there.
song right now.
Those kind
I'll
of.
write a song. Oh.
Ultimate ears.
There you go.
Oh, you wrote him a jingles.
That's it.
There it is.
You heard it first.
Wow.
Yeah. I could hear your tears
Yep.
with my Ultimate Ears.
Wow.
Yeah. If you don't have live, if you don't have the lives, you're cool. You're not cool if you don't have the lives. I mean, the 11s. Sorry, the 11s. The 11s.
Oh,
These are lives. Just saying.
11.
Just that's okay. That's okay. Hey, you know what? When you get to like maybe Cher's level,
Oh.
and you know, you'll get the lives.
Huh.
You know.
Well, yeah.
They're coming.
Yeah.
They're already ordered. So yeah. So who wants to start telling us your history?
Okay.
All right,
Sure.
Ashley, tell us your history. Come on down.
Come on.
You're the next
My
contestant.
history. Where to begin? Well, I'm LA born and raised, so I had the great fortune of kind of like living in like the music scene at a really cool time in LA. We still had all like the great venues and, you know, bands playing around every corner, and it's just a good time to kind of grow up with that influence, you know, in Hollywood and stuff. I went to the LA County High School for the Arts, and I went to Cal Arts, and I studied jazz there. I got a degree in jazz, which is hilarious because it's like the one genre I probably like play the least of.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was gonna become like a salsa bassist, so that was like my focus there, and I was like really like sort of heading down that path. And I just felt sort of like fish out of water in that scene because I didn't know Spanish. I was in a world of like, at the time, it was like a very like machismo kind of vibe, and I was just like this young girl fresh on the scene, and I like during the breaks everyone would be speaking in Spanish, and it would just be a bunch of guys like huddled together smoking cigars and stuff, and I would be like, I don't know anybody, and this is weird, and you know, it was kind of a hard scene to break into.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of went into like indie rock mode, and that eventually did turn into more like pop world. I got my first audition with Adam Lambert, and that sort of like, you know, springboarded me into the pop world.
So
That's the long board of it.
So Adam Lambert
Nice.
when he finished the whole American Idol thing and went out on his own. This is before Rock of
Queen.
Ages and Queen, obviously.
Yes, yeah.
So
before
what
Queen.
his run was what, like 2 years on his own?
Yeah, I was with him for a couple years,
Mhm.
and we had a great time, and it was cool. He was like such a fun boss to have. You know, he wasn't like at that time it was really cool to be a part of his band because he hung with us, you know. He would like be on the same bus with us and just like we'd party together, and like it was just, he was so awesome and down to earth and real, and like I'd like watch him put on his makeup, and like just he was so immersed in our little world, you know. I was going through a really hard time in my life, like dealing with a divorce, and he was like a really good friend during that time, and like I'll always be grateful for that.
I think people that have come from that humble beginning that they have had, the American Idol people from The Voice. You know, Ben tells his story about Kelly Clarkson, same thing, you know, cool beans type thing, and you know,
so
hey, it's you know, and just doesn't forget where they come from.
Yes, exactly. Like ego's out the door, you know, like just humble and cool, and just really about like, you know, creating like a friendship, you know. And it was cool. It was nice to have that, you know.
I think it's something that we with this show have identified with people of that caliber more than the big ego poser, you know. And we're not saying the level of how high you get up the food chain. It's just some people keep it real and still play every day or practice every day. Somebody like Rick Latham, who's, I believe, when I started taking drum lessons 40 years ago, you know, I was, you know, I grew into his books that he wrote, and to have him on our show, I'm like, this guy wrote 2 Rudiment books and solos, drum fundamentals books that I followed in classes. I was like, holy shit. And then to see him out at NAMM and to have him on the show and back and forth, just one of the nicest guys you ever meet. And he gets up every day and he walks into his studio and he practices, and he's still crushing it.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
And that's the type of thing.
That's cool.
Frank Briggs, from 805, who was early 80s MTV. They had a couple singles and that, but he went on to teach all over, and he's got 11, 12 different books. I didn't tell you, but he'll be on the show, and I was talking to him today, as a matter of fact, and he said, posers continue to pose, or musicians continue to get better every day. And it really resonated in my head. I mean, if you just sit there and practice every day, somebody like Billy Sheehan's on the show, and as we're interviewing him, he's just fiddling with his bass
in his hand,
and you can hear him. I'm like,
the entire time.
Yeah, I'm like, if we shut up and we just listen, we can have like an hour of Billy Sheehan solo.
Yeah.
Like constant licks.
Yeah, he just kept sitting there doing finger exercises while he was talking to us. I was like,
that's so funny.
That's how they get so good.
Yeah.
Just playing all day long.
Yes. And
for sure.
So funny.
And as a drummer, Chris, you probably the same thing. I mean, how many times when you were growing up did every person in your family is like, stop
That's enough
beating
already.
on that.
Oh,
Stop tapping the table. Stop beating your feet. Stop, you know.
In school, all the teachers, like, they don't even ask who's tapping. They'll just have their backs, and they'll be like, shut up, Chris.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was the same thing. Riding the bus to school.
Right.
Back of the seat with the drumsticks. Always had my drumsticks in my pocket. Always. And yeah, I mean, I do miss that portion of it. I don't miss carrying gear though.
Yeah.
I like just walking in as the singer now and be like, what's up, guys? How long have you been
ready.
here?
Why aren't you guys ready yet?
Yeah.
Exactly.
How come the drummer's not done yet? Dude, let's go. Sound check. He's like, you suck.
Just shut up.
Yeah, you suck. You know, I carried all my gear, said never
no
a singer ever.
Yeah, no kidding.
Was it a gear?
I work with some good singers now that are really helpful.
Yeah.
And it's very nice.
Yeah.
Can you have them teach him?
No, you will never work with a singer that does that. I'm done. What was it? Jason Charles Miller that said, you know, the bass player, I did my part. The drummer, I did my part. And then they pans over to the singer. He's like, and I didn't do shit. So, there you go.
So Chris, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, let's start with your history now.
Oh yeah. Well, I had the almost opposite upbringing in Australia. Um, Other side of the world, in the most isolated city on earth, in Perth.
Okay.
Is that? Yeah.
And yeah, just I didn't do the university thing. I spent my 20s in clubs and bars and various venues, doing the original and the cover thing.
Okay.
So I think from about, I think I was 19 when I started playing music full time.
Oh wow.
And I was teaching as well. So I would teach like 4 or 5 days a week at like schools and academies and stuff. And then play covers 3, 4, 5, sometimes 7 nights a week.
Oof.
And then spent all that time just kind of honing the craft and doing shows and trying to work out what to do next. And for me, it was I wanted to get into the US touring circuit. So as an Aussie in the music world, like that's a hurdle that you have to get over, is like you got to deal with visas and all this stuff to get into the country.
No, not now, but
so I spent many years working through that, and then eventually got a call while I was in Perth to tour with the band Filter, and did that for a number of years, and then it led on to lots of things, a whole life in LA, and then a life in Vegas up to now.
What is the best thing that came out of that tour with Filter?
Probably my wife.
I was waiting. She
too.
didn't even make eye contact. She sat there and in her brain, she's like, I swear to God,
Really carefully.
he's sleeping on the frickin' couch tonight if he says the wrong thing. He's like, well, I got to meet the guys. And then, I was like, wah, wah.
Oh.
You're going to hell.
Yeah, there you go. So,
Yep.
so you guys both met on the Filter tour. You both started at the same time, or?
We did. Yep.
Yep. Joined the band together.
Yep.
So, was it an immediate? I mean, this is not the dating game, but was it an immediate spark, or did you hate each other in the beginning? It's like, wow, this guy's a tool.
We were like,
we were friends for 2 weeks,
but we were also both freshly out of like long-term relationships, and like we're both like really not looking.
Don't touch me. Don't look at me.
Yeah, Ashley was the first girl I met in America.
Oh, really?
That's kind of amazing. I got it at the ground.
Like I landed. I landed
no
the
one
night
better than
before,
me.
and then went to rehearsals the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
So aside from people at the airport,
Right.
Well, you had your choices, you know.
Yeah.
but no, we just immediately hit it off. We were like glued at the hip, like immediately.
Yeah, we were.
Cool.
We just had like, first of all, like great chemistry on stage, and then like we liked the same things, and I would just like be, the only girl in the band. I'd just be kind of like, I'm gonna just go on an adventure and like go off to find like a hot chocolate nearby. We were like both like sober tour, and all of a sudden, like, I'd be like 3 turns away, like several blocks away, and he'd come running up. Like, he was always like, I'm like, how?
Puppy dogs.
Like, I love that.
Great.
And
My
I
drummer's a
I
stalker.
texted my dad.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was kind of like creepy, but kind of awesome. And I let my dad know. I was like, there's this guy on tour. He's the drummer. He's amazing. And like, he makes sure I'm like never by myself.
Well, this was 1 a.m. in Chicago or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You keep telling the story, Chris. Keep telling the story. Yeah. It's really scary out there. I saw 2 guys with a knife. A knife. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah. I caught a fish
Don't
this big.
Yeah. Don't be the Lone Ranger over here. They're Superman. So, but that's cool though,
No,
because
that's awesome.
a bass player and a drummer have to be
Together.
I mean, you're
musically.
you are. You're the pocket.
Yeah.
You're the
what's so
backbone.
funny? I had written a note to myself in my phone. I made a note like, do not hook up with anybody in the band, especially the drummer.
Well, that didn't work.
Like, then it was like I was singing to the future,
Mm-hmm.
we were fated to be together.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, I had the same thing. I wrote a big list of like
Don'ts.
everything I was looking for, and
Got to be blonde. Got to be a bass player. Got to be in the band.
Yeah.
gotta be blonde. Yeah, and yeah, she just ticked all the boxes. So when we were friends and touring around for a couple of weeks, and I was so fresh in the country and everything, and we were both just thinking like, this is not the time to be getting involved with anyone,
Yeah.
We didn't want to lose our jobs.
Yeah.
Oh, was there
And so
a non-compete clause?
Right.
Well, you know what? We actually kept our relationship, and I'm not saying this because we're on air or anything, but we kept it super PG-13. Like,
We did.
we weren't like hooking up. We were just like, like quietly making out, just like and then, but we thought we had everyone fooled.
they knew before we did.
We thought that we were being like we would literally go out to dinner like with the band, and like Richard would be like sitting across the table from us, and we would be like holding hands like under the table, like, and we'd think that nobody knew, and it was so freaking cute and like little kids, But I guess everyone saw it before we did.
Oh.
Yeah, and we got told to just get on with it because clearly there's something going on.
That's cool.
We got caught snogging in the back lounge.
Yeah.
Like our tour manager caught us, and he was like, "Oh," and he told Richard about it, and Richard's like kind of like called him out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's like, I need to have a word with you.
Shit.
If there is
And
one
basically
stain on
he
that
gave us
couch.
Yeah,
He gave us permission. He was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like clearly there's something going on.
Right.
So just just be happy.
Yeah.
He said,
Good.
just don't fuck up my band.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. But that's cool
Yeah,
though.
and it was always like super pro, and he was like into it, and like he was at our wedding, and like
Oh, cool.
yeah,
That's
He loves
awesome.
taking credit for us, so we give him credit because we wouldn't be us without him.
Right.
So who left the band first?
I think you
I
joined Cher in what 2017,
2017, yeah. I think I
and you
left.
didn't really leave.
Yeah, it was just I got busy, and so I got busy with Cher in 2017, and so the keyboard player moved over to bass, and they put his key parts onto track.
Okay.
So it wasn't like I really left because I came back for a couple more shows after that,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
and then we just got really busy with Cher, and then he just kind of took over on bass. So yeah,
Yeah, but that was like 2017.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then when did you leave?
Yeah.
How long?
I think I started playing with Avril and Tom in 2019. But then I did a couple, like a spot date here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we love those guys, and
They're awesome.
we'll play any day with them.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
For sure.
So if he calls you up, you're gone. Pretty much.
Yeah, if I'm free,
If you're free,
I'd love to. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
There you go. Set it up.
So,
Make some
yeah.
calls.
Set it up.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I would do it in a heartbeat. Love those guys.
Well, they have Tosh on drums now, and he's just phenomenal, and that's great. That I think that's working for everyone. He's
Yeah.
phenomenal in that band, and yeah, I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so with Filter, then, what is your favorite song to play live?
With Filter,
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be one that you recorded.
Right.
I mean, the obvious one is "Hey Man,"
Right.
because the crowd just loses their mind.
Which
Exactly.
version? Because there's like 8
my
versions of 8 Hey Man, aren't there? Isn't there like the Rastafarian version? There's like a whole bunch of
Oh.
them.
Really? No, I've
First album.
our live record was kind of sorry, our live version of that was like a heavier version of the record.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that was fun. I used to really like Best Things.
That's a fun one. Yeah.
That was cool because it's kind of drum and bassy as well.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
That was cool. And Jurassitol was always fun as well for the same reason. It's very sort of like, sort of jungle drumming.
Okay.
Okay.
So
You Walk Away was always one of my favorites.
yeah,
That one's got like this really awesome sort of like metal bridge, like.
and it's in 5.
You know, it's like it's really cool. Like it was just fun to get so metal and get so heavy. That was like the heaviest band I've ever been in, and for me, that was just like, oh my god, this is like where my heart and soul is. Like, I just want to be in like a heavy rock band like that again.
It's the jacket.
Definitely.
Yeah.
She puts a patchouli pullover. She's like, yeah, Rastafari music is my favorite in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Well, why haven't the two of you just come out with some just heavy, frickin' rip your face off metal band?
Or
really,
are you?
We'd love to.
We should just do it.
We'd love to. We have a couple of bands that we have together in our studio here. One of them was called Mangle Pop.
I forgot about that.
And we basically just mash the keyboard with different plugins on. It's really funny.
We just
Oh,
get
no
out all
kidding.
the weird instruments in our studio, like an upright, a Moog, like whatever we can get our hands on, and just make like noise.
Yeah,
right.
it's stuff that would never be released. We should
Yeah.
release it though.
I think that'd be funny.
Who did that?
It sounds like we're drunk.
With Kevin
Yeah.
Dean.
No,
Kid
wasn't
that,
it?
the
Wasn't
kid
it
that has the he's doing the studio. He has a studio with
Jeff Tripoli?
Jeff Tripoli. Jeez, sorry, Jeff. I know Jeff listens to the show. He's like, my name's Tripoli, you dick.
Jeff,
same
I got
thing.
you.
Jeff Tripoli, we got you, brother. Jeff's got an album out that he
Kind of the same thing. He's a drummer.
and he just mics. He'll mic up trash can,
Yeah.
and the way he's playing on it
Yep.
and adding effects, and it's like, holy shit. And he had Totora did a bunch of tracks with him
Yeah.
on that as
Oh,
well.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, I mean, he's got it. It's out there, and it's different.
It is
It
different.
is. I mean, it's like something that, well, gummies are. If you eat a bunch of gummies and you're all fucked up, you can just love that.
Yeah.
I don't condone doing that because that would be wrong, especially if you're in a state that
Yeah.
doesn't have pot. But New York does. New York does.
Uh-huh.
Sponsored by Ultimate Herb. Oh no, that's yours. Sorry, Ultimate Ears, not Ultimate Herbs. That's the name of the new pot
Ultimate
store.
Ears.
Ultimate Herbs,
Ultimate Herbs.
dude. That's
Okay.
it.
Anyway, moving along.
Moving along. So, Avril Lavigne, you're playing, and Ashley, you've got a cover. You're doing originals with the '80s, '80s night.
We have an '80s band that we play with here in town. It's like the most ungoogleable name ever. It's called '80s Night. And it's Chris on drums, me on bass, and his best friend from Australia who plays guitar and sings. And he's like an absolute genius. Like he plays,
One of the best guitar players I've ever seen.
yeah. He's
No offense,
incredible.
Joe Hoekstra or Ben Morrow.
No, they would love him.
They're also some of the
Yeah,
best I've ever
they
seen.
they are amazing, and they'd all love each other, man. Like if
Oh,
the
they
three
would.
of them got into a room together, like that would be something special.
And he's
Yeah.
and your buddy's what's his name?
Anthony.
Anthony.
Anthony
So
Cormican, he's he's a special Irishman, but he's got a sort of hybrid Australian accent as well because he's from Perth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, he's a producer mostly, but also phenomenal musician.
Yeah, he composes for like Nickelodeon and Disney and stuff. He's
Oh.
amazing, like on another planet.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I mean, the producers know what they want to hear.
Mhm.
So when they can play and they could say, hey, I mean, when we had Carl Kennedy, not Kennedy,
Yeah.
Carl Kennedy on the show,
Kennedy.
playing with the rods, but then we find out he produced
Oh yeah.
two of the Anthrax albums, the first two Anthrax albums, and I'm
No
like,
kidding.
Yeah.
I'm like, get the fuck out of here!
Right.
And then he laid all the drum beats, the demo tracks
For the
for
first-
the first Manowar album
Manowar album.
that Joey DeMaio
wow.
was shopping around looking for till they got Scott Columbus for a drummer, and I was like, holy shit!
It's like all those things you didn't know, and all of a sudden
and
here they
this
are.
show is we're explaining it. You've heard it here first. So when you have a producer that can play and knows what they want, you know, it works on both sides of the coin. It's almost it's almost like
it makes him he's a very efficient producer in that way too, because he can do it in real time, and he knows what's going to work at the time. So you'll go in and do a session, and it's like, if you play it well, it's 1 or 2 takes.
Yeah. He's so quick.
Because he's like, this is what I want.
right.
Okay.
And I've learned, he'll be embarrassed, but I've learned most of what I know on drums from him.
Oh, no kidding.
Okay.
Yeah, like I have a lot of teachers that I give like tons of credit to as well, but on a day-to-day thing and being on stage and all the session work I've done and stuff, I've spent the most hours with him, and he'll just have the craziest ideas. He makes me play the weirdest stuff. His solo record that's going to come out either this year or next year is just like mind-bending. It's like Zappa style.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
And you know, nested tuplets and all the stuff. And so I learned all that from him. He's like, so you know how you're playing this groove here? Can you do all that, but also play like every 5th quintuplet, and then use that as the new pulse and play a 4/4 beat on top of that new pulse? And I'm like, I think so.
I'll give it a shot.
And then learn how to do it. And now that's in my arsenal.
Right.
Okay.
So
Fix it in
that all
post.
came from his mad mind.
Yeah. Chris, who was one of your influences for drumming?
On drums?
Yeah.
It changes every day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a huge list. I tend to be able to do it if I do it in order.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the first thing I ever heard was Phil Collins and Chester Thompson's drum solo duet on the I Can't Dance tour. Or is it We Can't Dance? I can't remember what it was.
I Can't Dance.
Can't dance, yeah.
It was
I Can't Dance.
Yeah, because I know the song was I Can't Dance.
Yeah.
But whatever that tour was, they did this thing in there, this duet, and that was like early 90s. And that's the first thing I ever saw, but I didn't comprehend that was Phil Collins and Chester Thompson. I just thought drums are cool. So
I want to lug those around the rest of my life.
yeah,
You know?
Exactly. Yeah,
I want to pack up half my living room every night
Yeah.
and take it with me.
Yeah.
yeah, because of that. So that's kind of where it started.
Okay.
And then the first drummer that I really noticed was Lars.
Okay.
And
I think you've
that
got to
was
be.
like,
I think you've got to be the first person I've ever heard say that.
really, the first one was Lars.
Yeah.
Because we're
Yeah,
old.
so-
We're old.
Because
But
we go back to saying, well, yeah, John Bonham and
Right.
you know Ginger Baker
Ginger
and
Baker,
Cream.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know that.
yeah. So
Yeah.
So I would have been like 11 or 12.
Okay.
And I was into full on like pop music all through the mid 90s. And then I remember it was whatever the music TV show is in Australia at that time. It was either like Video Hits or Rage or something like that. And I was getting ready for school, and this song came on, and it was metal. And I'm like, oh wow, I like metal.
I like this.
And yeah, and this, I saw the drummer there, and he had this long hair, and he was doing these cool moves. He was like whipping it around and stuff. And I'm like, whoa, that's cool. Who's that? And that's the first time I ever thought, who's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it kind of went from there. Like it went like Lars to Portnoy to Danny Carey to Thomas Harkey to Carter Beauford into Vinny. And Simon Phillips, a lot of the people at Billy Cobham, so the people that were open-handed.
Yeah.
Because I play drums open-handed.
Yeah, so do I.
Right on, yeah. Are you a lefty?
Yeah.
But right-footed?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a pain in the ass because every time I would sit down to play somebody else's kit, it was like, fuck, here we go again.
Yeah.
You know.
So when I was 13 and I was firmly in my Lars thing, I was like drawing pictures of his kit and everything, and I loved what he looked like, how his arms were crossed.
Yeah.
Just little kid mentality, like this looks cool. And so I tried to play lefty, and my left foot was just horrible, and I gave up immediately.
Till you bought your first double bass pedal and a clutch for your hi-hat. And just that's going down forever.
Yep.
I don't care if that ever goes up and down anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
yeah. So yeah, it a lot of those open-handed people inspired me because they do play differently because you can keep time and do fills at the same time.
Right.
So a lot of that was an influence. But yeah, all the greats I've
Cool.
been inspired by at one point or another. You know, at 14 I was into Travis Barker. At 15 I was into John Otto. You know, and then I discovered Vinny, and then I saw Gad when I was like 30, I think, and that just blew my mind. Like, saw him in person.
Yeah.
And I tried. Ashley was there, and with one of my Aussie friends, it was the first time we'd all ever seen him. Nicest guy on the planet as well.
Okay.
Like, total sweetheart. We saw him at the Catalina Jazz Club, which is a very small venue, with his band. And it was the best thing I've ever heard. And I tried with all my might to just imagine that I was in some tiny little dingy bar in the middle of nowhere in Australia. And I'm just listening to some people play. Because, you know, if you think, oh, like, I'm listening to legends,
Right.
like, it sounds better, like placebo effect.
Yeah.
But I tried with all my might to be objective and be like, it's not Steve Gadd, it's just
A drummer.
It's just a
some
drummer. Yep.
Yeah.
And even thinking that, I'm like, this is just unequivocally the most insane thing I've ever heard. Like, his pocket just changes the air
Yeah.
in the room.
I felt that way a couple months ago at the Metal Allegiance show when I watched Mike Portnoy play right there. And I was like, I've been to thousands of concerts in my life, and that just...
Until you see him.
He's uncanny.
Yeah.
He is. He's uncanny.
Yeah.
And he's down to earth. He's a great guy. Can't wait to have him on the show. He doesn't know it yet. But somebody will freaking kidnap him for the show.
Well, right now he's recording an album, so it
I know.
might be the time.
I know it's time to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a great guy.
But Ashley, how about...
He was my big influence for a while.
That's cool. Ashley,
how about you?
You're up.
How about you with your influences?
Oh, my influences? Oh, man. I feel like I'm such like a typical like bass nerd.
Okay.
Like the first bass player I was ever really hip to at like age like 11 or 12 was Jaco Pastorius from Weather Report. So I got really into like fusion jazz and of course then there was like Les Claypool, and I became like the world's biggest Primus fan. And I just said, wow, like this guy is so amazing. He's like, you know, his bass is like drums and bass at once, and he's singing. Like, this guy does everything, and he's weird and cool, and like
that dude's on a different level.
Yeah,
he's crazy. He's like alien bass level. Yeah. It's really hard to replicate that sound. So, but you know, I mean, I don't really play like either of those guys. Like they're all quite like they're really, really, you know, quite busy, but beautifully so. I think the first time I heard a bass player that really resonated with me was when I was in high school and I heard Pino Palladino play on D'Angelo's record Voodoo, and it was like, oh my God, it wasn't just about what he was playing, but it was about like the space in between his notes. Like, he had this, what I now know is pocket, you know. At the time I'm just like, what is it? It feels so weird. He's just playing like he's like he's, I don't know, like delayed almost. Like he was so laid back in his approach to that record and where the notes fell. You know, pushing and pulling, and I'd never heard anything like that before, and that record rocked my world. And I was like, that is who I want to be as a bass player. Like, I want to be the bass player that's not overplaying, that just makes it feel good, you know. And I think that's something that I've always tried to like make a big sort of theme in my life as a bass player is, you know, I'm not the fastest player, I'm not like the most like show-offy bass player, but I'm someone that always like makes my goal about the pocket, you know, if it feels good. Like, I just want to help. It's about like that connection with the drummer.
Yeah.
You know,
Always.
like laying down, like, you know, where's the kick falling? Where's my notes falling? Are we locked in? Like, that's, to me, that's everything.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
That's the first thing I noticed about Ash too was the feel, and that like there was no musical conversation that was had prior. Like, you know, when you start playing, you know, you kind of feel each other out for a minute, and then you figure out where each other are landing, and you're like, oh, okay, this is where we are. Like, it was just 1, 2, 3, 4, perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
And it was immediately apparent. I'm just like, oh, who are you?
Yeah.
I'm going to kiss her before the end of the tour.
Yeah.
I someday
Who are you?
I will someday marry her.
Yeah, it's a good thing they didn't have a dude in there, man. It's a whole different ball game. It's like, I'm going to marry him. No, wait.
It's been a way different interview.
But that's like that chemistry thing that, like, you can't practice that. You
Nope.
know, that's something that comes from experience. It comes from listening and connection and just playing with people, you know. And it's just like doing a dance, you know. Like, you can't, you know, if you have a partner, you're not dancing on your own. Like, it's like a give and take, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be bossy, you know. I've played with drummers that are so bossy, and it's so like, all right, I see that you're in charge, and it's like, you know, it's really hard to make it groove.
Yeah.
And then I've played with drummers that are just like so right there with you, watching everything you're doing, and you're watching everything they're doing, and it's just this magical thing that happens. And man, that is like a special moment when that occurs on stage.
I think when you see that as a musician, and for people that aren't musicians, and we gear the show for everybody. So
we try to.
When you're in the audience and you're not a musician, you're watching it unfold, and you're like, oh, everything just, this is really cool. But you could see everybody else going, okay, this is the magical moment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Something's happening.
Yeah.
Even if they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you have just something fucked up, or if you have a drummer who becomes a singer, who is now paying attention to the drummer,
to the guy behind you,
and you've been playing these songs as a drummer for 30 years.
Yeah, try that one on for size.
And the drummer walks in with, and Chris is going to laugh. The drummer's walking in, he's going to be doing Metallica and maybe a Godsmack or a Disturbed song. And he walks in with 2A drumsticks. And I see him coming in. I'm like, the fuck are those things? And he's like, what? I'm like, and he's still got the rabbit's tail beater on his kick drum. And I'm going, did your parents buy you this setup? Are you going to try to be in this heavy rock band now?
This is not going to go well.
And so we went terrible.
What if he can make it sound good then?
No. And he's like, how many more drummers are we going to go through? I mean, middle of the show. And I'm like turning around and I just scream at the drummer, hit the drums, you pussy. And I said, I swear to God, if you don't start hitting these drums by the second set, I'm just firing you right now. Right now. In the middle of the fucking show, I don't care.
Yeah.
Well, he started hitting harder because he was pissed,
Yeah.
but he quit for some reason.
I wonder why.
No.
Oh,
It's weird.
interesting.
I have an idea why.
Chris, when the drummer says to me, the 175th strike is supposed to be on the cymbal. And I said, the 175th strike.
You talking about alpaca?
Yes, I'm talking about
Alpaca.
the alpaca, yes. He counted out every hit, every strike.
Wow.
So
That's some crazy math.
That's a lot of math.
It's a lot of
yeah,
math
so a
number-
paradiddle would just, he's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh shit, and it's like,
Jesus.
It's a lot of math, number one. Number two, when you present a song that you want to do, and he says to you,
oh no, too many
"There's
drum hits.
way too many drum fills for me."
No hits.
Or hits for
Way
me.
too many drum hits in that song.
like-
Where every drummer in the world's like, "Let me loose. What can I? How many times can I hit this?
Before
play
they
is-
tell me to stop,
Yeah.
how many times
No.
can I do this?
No, never. And never like he would just like between songs, he just sit. No noodling. You know, every drummer, you're like, dude,
Anyway.
shut up. We're about to start rehearsal. You know, it's like,
No.
you want that. You want that nervous fucking, you know, let me go. You know, and he's just like, get out. So they hated me. They're like, oh, here we go. Drummer number 5 in a year. Here we go. This
We're
guy's gone too.
We're like the Spinal Tap.
We were Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
We would have drummers. We would have people have our set lists in their hands
In case.
as we're bringing somebody else on. I'm like, call this guy, get him our set list. This guy's not going to last. I just had a feeling.
No.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Anyhow, back to you.
back to you guys. So filters.
Yeah, I do recall having that magical moment like pretty instantly when I did the first rehearsal with Cher's band.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like we played through the set from top to bottom one time and we're like, all right, let's go to lunch. There was like no revisions, no like let's stop and take that one song over. Like we literally played like an unstoppable train top to bottom one time through. It felt amazing. I'm looking over and like Ben Morrow and Jason Sutter and you know it was Ben. Yeah, it was just like an amazing time. Like this is all like we're so lucky to be able to do that together, you know.
Okay, so that's
And
where
we
Ben
also
got
had
it
Joel.
from.
Joel and Ben were always like tag teaming, so we got the best of both worlds. It was
Sure.
such an awesome experience.
Both.
But it was one of those bands that just like naturally had that chemistry, and it was such a gift, you know.
Yeah.
I think just their personalities alone.
Yeah, I love them.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
I mean, I'll put them up against any. I'll shoot the shit with them against anybody
Yes.
from Anthrax, anybody from Guar, anybody
Yeah,
from
it doesn't
Metallica
matter.
or Kiss or
Yeah.
just note for note, great players. Watching Joel doing the TSO stuff is
Yes.
just like, you know,
Mind blowing.
Yeah.
and then Jason as a drummer is just sick. You know, the stuff he did with
Incredible.
Smash Mouth.
Incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Instant vibe, man. Just like one of my favorites, easily.
Yeah.
So great.
And again, Ben, same thing. Effortless.
Yes.
And to
Yeah.
have their attitudes just be so down to earth and so cool.
And
I've
that's
been
like
blessed
half the
with it.
gig, I feel like, you know. It's like there's so many great players, but to be on the road with people who you really like want to be around and can live with peacefully and happily in like a sardine can on wheels,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know, that's like such a special thing when you have that.
Yeah. People don't realize what being on the road, and we even don't. I mean, we've never done
No,
like
but-
them. But what you guys do, you need more credit.
Yeah.
And I think that by having the show and talking about it more and more, being on the road, you guys do, yeah, it's to us or to the fans that are clueless, what a rock and roll life. Look, they get to go here and they get to go there. You may be in Prague, you may be in Paris, France,
Yeah.
and all you see is a garage door that you're walking through, play your show, get on the bus,
And
and
get
you're
out, yep.
immediately heading somewhere else. And you're
Yep.
like, look, honey, Eiffel Tower, where? Oh, shit, you missed it.
never mind.
Next time. We'll see it next time.
We'll circle back around next
Yeah.
time.
And then you get your day off, and you're like, I got a day off, and you're in the middle of some third world country that nobody speaks a lick of English, and you're like, that's great. Everything's
Yeah.
gray. The birds have guns.
Right. Right. Right.
It's like, this sucks.
Yep.
You know?
That's enough.
So God bless you for what you guys do and have been doing it.
awesome.
You know, I think that's huge.
So how did you wind up with Cher?
I actually, this is kind of a long story, but it goes back to a very good friend of mine from all the way back to high school. Her name is Eva Gardner, someone who you should also have on because she's
Eva Gardner.
amazing. She's played for Cher and she's been with Pink for like forever. I want to say like 20 years or something like that.
Yeah.
She's been with her for ages. We just
Okay.
actually saw her perform with Pink recently in Australia, and it was just like
It's one of the best things I've
like,
ever seen.
so incredible. So incredible. That whole band is smoking, and Eva's just like one of the coolest, most like everyone in that band that you were just saying, like they're all just like the coolest, most down to earth human beings that you'd want to be around and talk to all day, and just like, just like hug and cuddle. Like Eva's that person too.
Right.
And so we went to the same high school, but at different times. She graduated right before me, so we had the same circle of friends, and I would like go to parties at her house and stuff, and so we always kind of like knew about each other and like followed each other's careers. And she actually recommended me for, of all things, an audition for Lionel Richie. And I didn't get that audition.
Damn you, Ben.
But the music director remembered me, and he was also doing Cher. So Ollie, and that's my wonderful friend Oliver Marland. Ollie, we love Ollie. He's awesome, incredible singer and keyboard player, music director, just like the coolest guy to have leading a band ever.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the one who ended up calling me. I was a camp counselor at like a rock and roll fantasy camp, and I get a text from Ollie, and he's like, "Hey, Eva's going out with Pink. We need a bass player for Cher. Would you be interested?" And it was so cool of Eva to like put in a good word for me. And so she knew Ollie. Mark Schulman, the drummer for Cher and Pink, also put in a good word for me. So it was like I had a couple ins, which was really nice to just kind of be cherry picked for Cher. So when I got asked, "Do you want to join the band?" It wasn't like come audition. It was like, "Do you want to be a part of this?" I was like, my mind was blown. And they asked me, "So you play bass? Do you also play upright? And do you play keyboard? And do you sing?" And I was like, "Yes." But really, like, I hadn't played upright in a long time. I owned one, hadn't played it for a while. I had never really spent much time with key bass, and I wasn't really that comfortable singing and playing bass. But I was just like, yes. And then I just figured it out, and I like learned how to play key bass, and I practiced. Like, I shut down my entire life for a month.
Sure.
I cleared my schedule. Yeah. I did nothing but learn that like 60 to 90 minute set. Like literally like falling asleep playing like the keyboard parts, like, virtual, like in the air, and then waking up and just getting it so ingrained in my body and my brain, just that's all I could like eat, sleep, and breathe.
Right.
So by the time we did that rehearsal, it was just like second nature.
That's cool.
Very cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. So I owe it to Eva Gardner. Your next guest.
Yes. And we're going to hold you to making the introduction.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
See, boom. And this is, and see, people don't understand.
I know.
This is exactly, if you have followed The Good, the Band, and the Ugly,
yep,
you will see how these guests are being stacked because it's the same thing. It's Ben Morrow's like, you need to call this person.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
Rich Magicero.
Well, Jeff was the same way.
Well, Jeff Totoro has been, he's just been feeding us like he's feeding a funnel.
Yeah.
But Rich Magicero and Ben Morrow called Jason. Mm-hmm. And that's how Jason called me. And he's like, look, I got Rich Magicero and Ben Morrow both calling me at the same time.
Yep. Like within days, you have to do this podcast. It's a freaking blast.
And I'm like,
I love it.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how everything is in the music world. Everything is word of mouth. It's all networking, you know, and it's like, once you realize like we're all in this little like interwoven connected world, like, man, how lucky are we, you know, to be surrounded by so much kindness and so much support and so much talent. Like that's such a rare community to have. And we're so like fortunate.
And to watch the music genres, there's no lines.
No.
There's no lines in the sand. No. When you're a fan of a music, whether you're listening to prog rock or you're listening to 80s metal or modern day thrash, Cookie Monster, you know, whatever that's called. I don't know what they call that anymore, but those people intermingle with everybody.
Yeah.
And I really found that myself out at NAMM. You weren't there, man.
Yeah.
You weren't there.
Really?
But I'm talking to some people, and you know, our friend of the show, Bill Ollie, played with Held Hostage, and they played the Metal Hall of Fame inductee night, and they've done it for the last 3 years. And a couple guys come walking towards us. I'm like, long freaking dreadlock, metal, faces painted purple with huge gauges, and I'm like,
is this a dude that was like, oh, I love kittens?
he's like, hey man, what's going on? I'm like, okay. I was even like intimidated by how freaking heavy metal these guys looked, you know. And he's a cool, and they're like, yeah, well, we're just talking to this guy over here, and blah blah blah. And I'm like,
I love kittens.
yeah,
Really?
Yeah, it's
never
like,
known.
yeah, puppies are cool, you know.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
Really?
yeah, there's no walls, and
No.
those circles all just kind of intertwined. But when you're the listener,
Yeah.
you know, like growing up in the '80s, you were listening to Motley Crue.
Yeah.
But if you got caught listening to a Duran Duran song,
Oh, forget it.
you
were
know, you're gonna,
chastised.
your friends are gonna beat the shit out
Yeah.
of you. You know, it's like, what's your problem,
Yeah.
man? It's like,
And the reality is those bands were probably friends.
oh god, yeah.
You're correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we told on the last show, I'm in England,
Yes.
and I hook up, and they're a young band, and people get sick of me talking, but
Yeah, me too.
hook up with the band, Aha, doing their song "Take on Me," and it's like nobody knew who they were, and I was hanging out. They were in my hotel. I went to the studio while they were recording it with them, just hanging out. And Billy Squire's in the next studio over. Duran Duran's walking around talking about doing something. And I end up going to lunch with Aha and Billy Squire to Pizza Hut of all places while I'm in London.
Who'd have thought?
You know, and I'm a 19-year-old guy going, I'm fucking going to lunch with Billy Squire and these
It's
guys.
crazy.
And
You know.
we're going to Pizza Hut.
Yeah, and we're going to Pizza Hut of all places.
What the
you
hell?
know, while I'm in
Loving
England.
it.
That's awesome.
But everybody was just
That's-
cool with each other. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
You know,
That's the beauty of like festivals, you know. Like I
Yeah.
know we both had like some fun experiences, like being on tour,
Yeah.
like in Budapest with CeeLo, and we're backstage hanging out with Korn, and they're like the nicest freaking guys
Yeah,
ever.
they are.
You know.
yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guys from Korn were great friends with Jack Black and a buddy of mine.
Oh,
they were
right.
all they all hung out all the time, and yeah, so
Mhm.
good guys.
So, Chris, I have to ask you this, otherwise my daughter will kill me.
Okay.
So, how did you end up playing with Avril Lavigne?
So there's a jam night in Los Angeles called Soundcheck Live,
Okay.
and it's a really cool thing. It's at a bowling alley, but it's like a
Oh.
wicked venue in the middle of Hollywood.
Mhm.
And they have, it's basically like it's not just a get up and jam night. It's like an orchestrated thing. And there's a guy there called Steve Filazzo, who is the keyboard player and the musical director for the evening. And he orchestrates like 60 musicians to come in and do this thing.
Right.
And so shortly after I got to the States, I'd heard from multiple people that like this was a cool night, you should go and check out. And he happened to be the playback guy for Adam Lambert
So I toured with
with
him.
Ashley.
Oh, okay.
So they
Yeah.
knew each other. So I heard it from Ashley as well, and he was a Filter fan and asked if we would be interested to come in and play some Filter stuff.
Nice.
And he was going to sing it, which was
Oh.
pretty cool.
It was awesome.
Yeah, so I met him that way, and then basically the way it works is there's a house band,
Mhm.
which is
Right.
Be like our version of an
with
open mic
Steve-
night.
Yeah, we do that
yeah,
here,
we,
but open mic
you
night.
do it as well.
House, yeah, I just was at one last night actually, and
Yeah,
house band, and the room is usually filled with more musicians than listeners. Everybody
Exactly.
walks in with a
and,
guitar.
and they swap players
Yeah.
in and out.
Yes.
and
Yeah.
the lineup's different every song.
Yeah, you get like 8 minutes. You get like 2 songs to do your thing, and then
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yep.
comes in knowing everything and just killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, this particular night, it was I think most of the Filter band played, and then he sang. And then the next time I went, it'll be, so the house band is like like 7 or 8 people, and they're all from these fantastic bands. And they started inviting us back more and more often, and eventually I started doing some of the house drumming stuff, because the house drummer is Glenn Sobel from Alice Cooper's band.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to be asked to come and do the house thing when Glenn couldn't do it, and then they also get this a few other people to do it, and I was lucky enough to be thrown into that rotation. So yeah, I would do the house thing, and anyway, you can kind of see where this story's going. That musical director, Steve, is Avril's musical director.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, one day the phone rang, and I thought it was Soundcheck Live related stuff, and Steve's just like, "Hey man, you want to play the Tonight Show with Avril?" And I'm like,
You mean tonight?
I'm like, yeah. When? And he's like, and gave me a date, and I'm like, all right, cool. And he's like, it'll also be Good Morning America and Kelly and Ryan. It'll be some stuff in New York and stuff all in this one weekend. And I'm like, great, let's do it. So it kind of started there. I went in and did. So my first show with her was Jimmy Fallon.
Wow.
No,
Okay.
no pressure.
No.
Actually, that was a funny story too. Speaking of like Pocket and everything, Questlove on that show.
Oh man.
Right.
That was one of the most surreal moments of my life. Aside from that, was the first TV, like American TV thing that I did. But I'm sitting there waiting to play, and they do the bump-in music.
Yep.
And it's the first time I've seen Questlove play and the Roots in person. And he just starts playing, and he's just playing this groove that like turned my world sideways. I'm like, oh, what? And I've got my sticks in my hand. I'm like, oh,
I quit.
I'm done.
I'm just like, how does he do that?
Effortless.
Effortless. And it's I don't know what the song was. I don't even know what planet I was on at that moment. But it was a song we've all heard before. But the way he played it, just the space between all the notes and everything, I'm like, oh, that's crazy. And then next thing I know, I hear Fallon go, Avril Lavigne, and then the song counts off, and I'm like, oh wow, okay,
it's me.
Like
it's me.
Yeah, like he really just befuddled me.
You didn't find yourself.
Yeah, like I every other moment of that I've had like that, I'm in the zone and I'm ready and I'm like getting ready for parts. And
he doesn't even know that's his fanboy moment right there.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Okay.
I never even considered that, but that's the first time I was just like I was on a different planet. I wasn't about to play Fallon. I'm just like, oh, and then snapped back in. I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. Boom.
Yeah.
He was just phenomenal. So Questlove.
There you go. There you go.
How about your fangirl moment?
Yeah.
Oh, what's so funny is I don't feel like I have like that one definitive moment that was like a fangirl moment, because I feel like every time I've like
didn't we already discuss this? Didn't we already discuss your answer?
Oh, that what?
He still thinks it's him.
When you got to meet Big Papa from the
He
Good,
still
the Bad,
thinks
and
it's
the
him.
Ugly.
Oh God, from NAMM, that time that I met you.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
that's it.
Here we go.
So
we can't be friends anymore.
My
Can't be friends.
I had an out of body experience.
Yep. Nope.
Wow.
No,
Can't be friends.
But that really does happen on stage. I actually find that's like a real thing where you do find yourself like literally just wanting to like pinch yourself. Like, is this real? It becomes so surreal. I've definitely had that moment on stage several times with Cher where I can't believe it. This is my life. And I'm like floating. It's that out of body experience that happens. And it's a really dangerous thing because when you're having an out of body experience, your body's like basically on autopilot.
Yeah.
things are working, things are moving, and you're not really sure how because you're not even there anymore. All of a sudden, you're sort of like floating above yourself, sort of seeing this bird's eye view, going like, "Holy crap! I can't believe this is my life."
Yeah.
And that's it's a weird thing to have to like yank yourself back and go, okay, crap, like the next cue's coming up. Like I gotta remember where I'm at, you know?
Right.
So yeah, that's definitely happened like a handful of times, and it's always a funny moment when it does. But so that's my general answer, but a very specific one time I got to meet Les Claypool. And you know, growing up, I was such a bass nerd. I loved him so much. And then I went and saw a screening of his movie called Electric Apricot. And because I was one of his biggest fans, I had purchased a bracelet made out of one of his strings, one of his bass strings.
Oh yeah.
And I compared them to like the ones on my basses, and I was like, oh my God, it's a G string. What a funny joke. It'll be such a great icebreaker when I meet Les Claypool.
I'm wearing your G string.
Yeah. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's his freaking movie screening, and he does like a Q&A, and then afterwards he's hanging out in the lobby, almost like a very casual meet and greet. You know, people are kind of coming up to him and introducing themselves. I'm your biggest fan and everything. And I thought this would be such a funny and clever icebreaker. And so when it came to my turn to talk to him, I said, "Hey, Les, I've got your G string." And I pointed at my bracelet, and I don't think it connected with him in any way.
Oh boy.
And he made this totally perplexed look and went, "Well, there you have it, folks. Next." And like just went to like the next person. He didn't know what the hell I was talking about.
Wow.
And like my little like teenage heart just shattered because I just had my hero completely dismiss me. And I was like, I was trying so hard in that moment to not feel embarrassed and like cry. And I didn't, but I wanted to. And till this day, I mean, this is like, you know,
and
I don't know how many years later, 25 years later or something like that. And here I am talking about it still because it shattered my little teenage dreams.
And it's funny because I was going to ask you, is he as weird as he is on stage, like in person?
Oh, I feel like he's like the times that I've seen him play, and I've seen him play a lot of times, he's got like these really signature antics that he does, like his cool little like thing, the way he like, you know, does his little
leg
cute
thing
dance with his leg.
Yes.
You know, and like he's got his little masks that he wears sometimes, and his like thing that he does, and like, you know, he's Les. He's like quintessentially Les, and I'll always love him. I'm always going to be a fan, but sometimes, you know, I've definitely heard people say it's good to not meet your heroes, but I hope really that I get to one day meet him again and reclaim that moment, because I have heard from other people say that he's just the coolest, nicest, super down to earth guy. I know he's got like his own like winery up in Northern California, and I've heard people say like we go up there all the time. He and his wife are awesome. So I'm hoping one day I get to reclaim that experience, because that was so sad for me.
Okay, there's date night, Chris. Mark that down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make this happen, Chris. Right. Come on, man. Yeah. Pull this one out somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what I can do.
See if my wife can bring the G-string comment back up.
Just go to the winery. Hopefully he'll be there.
Yeah. No.
Oh, yeah. I think he shows up sometimes. Yeah. And his wife like helps run it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. There's my hero.
Giggling about.
You're such a dick.
What?
Hey, wait.
What's
you
up?
guys have to have like at least one example of don't meet your heroes.
I haven't. I have one I've mentioned on the show, and I know I'm going to get in trouble for it someday. But
here it comes.
Yngwie Malmsteen.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what happened?
Dick. Such a dick.
He is.
Sorry.
He's not the nicest guy you've ever met.
It wasn't even directed toward me. It was directed toward a friend of mine. Yeah. I was working for a radio station at the time. Got backstage passes for people. I'm like, you guys are going to meet your hero. And they came up and they said, hey, man, you know, we're guitar players too. Just how do you get your chops so quick? Just like you're just thinking of the dumbest thing you could say just to say it. Mm-hmm. And he's signing an autograph. And he goes, for signing autographs for people like you. Or no, for idiots like you. For signing autographs for idiots like you. And he hands it back. Now, my friends are New Yorkers. So they're like, fuck you, throw it back in his face.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, great, thanks. I'm glad I got you backstage, but yeah, but we heard it from other people. He's a hard guy to work with and
yes.
for. Yes.
Ask his guitar tech.
Yeah, his guitar tech.
He'll tell you.
Well, yeah. Well, how many shows they would just cancel? They would come here. Yngwie was going to play and then just cancel because he's pissed off about something. His hair got wet.
Done.
So they weren't playing that night. That's it. Not playing. Done. It's like, really? So maybe he's the nicest guy in the world, but like you said, don't meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't want to pollute that thought of, So now every time I see a video of him, I just think of For Idiots Like You, and I'm like, you're a dick. Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Like those words just like linger in the air for like
forever.
Eternity.
Forever. Yeah. But when you do meet someone that's cool,
oh man,
being a drummer,
like yourselves,
and being a lefty, Scotty Columbus from Manowar, we were underage, couldn't get into the nightclub, walked 4 miles in an ice storm because we couldn't even get the band vehicle out of the driveway. It was such terrible weather. And we walked to this club, and Manowar's in there setting up for sound check. Back when sound checks were not 20 minutes before the show, type thing. Because club dates are so different than arena dates. But these guys are setting up at noon. They're doing sound check. We're standing outside freezing, and they're like, come on in. And we told them, we can't see the show, but we're a band. We do some of your music. We cover some of your stuff. And Scotty Columbus is like, sit down. Do my drum check. I was like, really? He goes, I'm left-handed, if you don't mind. I'm like, I'm left-handed. And he's like, have at it. So to
cool.
me, it was the first time sitting down at a guy that had every drum mic'd, not just,
not just
an SM58 thrown into the kick drum,
the middle,
and one overhead, because when we started out, you just had shit mics for drums. So sit down. Hit that kick drum and be like, fuck yeah. Hearing it come through the front end. So that was a surreal moment for me. I was like, I think I was 15. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. There
you go.
So, yeah, that was my moment.
I love that.
And I know you had one with Blackberry Smoke. Just hanging out with those guys. Mm-hmm. So it's
that's cool.
But we love what we do. And this show helps us get to both sides of our music. We like playing, but we also love to learn about the stories about people like yourselves and how down to earth, no matter who you've played for. You're playing with some of the biggest names. You're playing with Avril Lavigne. You're playing with Cher. You played with Filter. I freaking loved Filter from the first album on. 2013, 14, not as much. No, I'm only kidding. I've loved all the Filter out. Everything that they did. And you Adam Lambert, CeeLo Green. I mean, these are some great freaking musicians, and you guys. I don't even think it hasn't even gone through your brains yet. How cool it is, and we're so thankful to have you guys on the show.
Aww. Dude, we're so grateful to be asked. I mean, we're obviously in great company. You guys are awesome, and
thank you.
You're such a good hand, and all the guests you've had before, and we'll
to be considered part of that's pretty surreal in itself.
Well, we consider you guys.
You're part of the family,
part of the GBU
family,
the Good Bad and Ugly
alumni.
And this is Jibu, and so that's Jibu right there.
Jibu.
Jibu.
We love Jibu.
Yes, he's the best ever.
Yep.
I think we should get T-shirts with him on
only Jibu with the horns.
Yes. Not.
And we also love Ultimate Ears.
Yeah.
Ultimate Ears. We didn't even ask you, but we are going to because I don't care how much over we go. It's our show.
You do what you want.
We can do whatever we want. If you don't like it, stop listening.
However.
But you won't because you want to hear this part.
Right.
Because you want to hear this blooper part that we almost let you out of, but we're not going to. So, biggest.
Give us one.
Yes, let's start with Ashley because she said she's got one right off the bat. She remembered. Oh. Yeah, you're first.
You said it.
Wait, stage blooper.
Stage blooper.
Stage blooper. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, well, I guess like too funny, but it was like, oh my god, like a world of panic. I was playing
Well, it's kind of what that's kind of
Jay Leno's Tonight Show with Adam Lambert, and the song is Counting Off, and this is like a really big deal, and all of a sudden, like we're a bar in, and my bass just falls off.
Oh,
and I'm like, all right, this is live.
He's
I
laughing.
look around
This
like
is live.
we can stop and do this over, right? But no, there's no stopping it. So I literally just play the rest of the show. It's on YouTube somewhere, but I just do the rest of the show on bended knee. And actually, you know what's so funny that happened to me the other day? Like that literally happened to me. It was really cool though. Ricky Minor, the MD on the Tonight Show at the time, took me backstage and gave me my first strap lock strap, and that was such a cool moment.
Strap locks.
Yes. See, this was meant to happen. This is an ad for strap locks.
Yes, I love strap locks.
But,
they don't.
Strap locks.
I thought you like strap on.
Negative.
Oh, it's strap locks. Okay,
Locks.
I wasn't sure what the strap locks.
But so yeah, I guess it wasn't like too. It's like a PG one. But
No, but that's fine.
Blooper.
Well, we don't want a rated R blooper.
No.
I don't know where you're going with that. You know, you lost him when you said snogging. He's like, "What the fuck is snogging?" I'm gonna look it up. So yeah.
Oh, it's just like
that's
the tongue.
It's making out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, snogging.
Yeah,
He's going.
Oh wait.
Yeah, it's totally PG.
That's a very English thing.
Snogging. What is
Yeah.
snogging?
Okay. Anyway, go on.
Yeah.
Chris,
So-
you're up.
You're up.
I'm trying to think of one. The first one that comes to mind, I blacked out on stage.
Oh wow.
For any reason?
I was gonna say, was this a medical reason?
It's so I was playing with a punk band, and the singer. So it was up tempo stuff.
Yeah.
And the singer came over to me and was like, "Scream for me, Chris!" And I screamed with I don't know how to scream. I just scream.
Yeah.
And I screamed during this beat, and everything just went.
Oh.
Wow.
And
Okay.
yeah, and then I don't know what happened, but it just went, and I was back like playing.
It's almost like in the
And-
old days when your TV goes out.
Yeah.
And then comes back on.
Yeah,
Blood sugar.
And so I was still sitting there, and my arms were still moving, but I was no longer in the place that I thought I was.
Oof.
How much pot do the two of you smoke? I gotta ask. The bullshit. There's no freaking way. There's
Look at
no
her.
way. She's
She
body
says-
out of body. He went down a wormhole.
Yeah, but yeah, after that song, I was obviously very sick and everything because
Yeah.
I just fainted.
Right.
And I saying that I was like, the guys were looking back at me, and I just didn't look good. I'm like grey, and they're like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just blacked out." And they're like, "When?" I'm like during
Just
the
now.
song. And they're like, "Really?"
I was gone for 3 days. What happened? Guys didn't notice it?
Do you know that happened another
that's-
time?
Huh?
What you just saw?
Yeah. What's this thing?
There's something on his phone or their
Oh,
phone.
they're doing it with the phone. The
You did a
iPhone.
motion with your hand. And these
'cause
bubbles.
Our ring camera.
Oh no, it's Zoom. Does that work?
No.
No,
Ah,
because
this one?
you did
Something?
this. When you did
Or
this,
some-
a bubble came up, or a couple bubbles came up, and there was a thumbs up inside the bubble.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's the
there's-
gimbal.
No, there's a thing within the software.
Oh.
I've discovered this as well, and I don't know how to do it on command. But apparently, you can throw up like different things, and it makes the screen do weird things.
Yes. Well,
How do we
here's
get that? How do we trigger it again?
okay, but here's
Dude,
here's the
yeah.
sad part.
Told you they smoked pot.
Well, no, the sad. Here's the
Ah,
we're,
cool.
like,
Oh.
we're naturally stoned on
Quick,
life.
put on the Guess Who. Quick.
here's the weird part though. When they were describing their favorite song,
Yeah.
it the same thing happened, but it was thumbs down.
Oh. Well, you're supposed to be able to do this.
Oh my God, maybe it's like AI. Maybe.
There it is.
There it is.
It did it.
Ah.
There it is.
Wow.
There it is.
Whoa, do I have to hold it for a minute? Maybe I have to hold
Yeah.
it.
Oh.
Ah.
Dude.
Yes.
Fireworks?
Yeah.
Yes, that's even better.
This is so.
I want to do that.
That's a little
We
scary.
can't do
What
that,
is-
can we?
Does it know this one?
No.
No,
Well, what?
Nothing.
they haven't
actually-
gone that far.
How about this?
Nope.
Oh, look, your face popped up.
They should do the poop emoji.
That's right. That's right. Wait, where's our pooping troll?
Right there.
We have our pooping troll.
Oh my god, I love that you have a pooping troll.
Yep.
Really, we're just like 8-year-olds. We have like 8-year-old potty
I am
humor
too.
all the time.
Yeah, well,
No.
you know where we got that? Say it.
What? Got what?
Team U.
Oh, Team U. Yeah.
I have a problem.
Really?
I have a buying a bunch of dumb shit problem.
You can shop like a millionaire. That's what they say.
Yeah. Shop like a millionaire when you only have a
$5
homeless
budget.
person's budget.
So wait, it's not a scam?
Oh, God, no.
Oh, no.
No, I buy a ton of shit off of Team U.
No.
They are
Every
not.
time-
Cool.
We do not endorse.
Every time I
Or
walk in
deny.
here, I think I have to bring a package almost every time because it's sitting outside his door.
He's like, what'd you buy now? I'm like, I have no idea.
Right.
Let's open it. It's like
Let's open
Christmas.
it, yeah.
This is cool.
It's like Christmas.
Oh my god,
That's
I love
fun.
Yeah, I have a
it.
problem.
Hilarious.
He has a very bad
Well,
problem.
no,
The
wait, 'cause-
quality's okay?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. No, it is. But
Uh-oh.
I'm going to say this on air.
Oh.
I didn't buy it.
What?
Oh.
So we're looking for new microphones. So our friends at Cher, hello, friends at Cher,
Friends at Cher.
Shure, SHURE, Shure microphone,
Sure.
SM7Bs.
Fellas.
I know you're $400 for your microphones, but through the Orient, they have a SHUR version
Oh, my God.
without the E that looks just like it. And I'm going, $117. This can't be right.
If it shows up here next
Oh
week-
no, I didn't buy it.
Oh, okay.
No, because we're either going that or we're going Sennheiser. So
Yeah.
whoever responds to
Who responds first?
whoever we will be ambassadors for,
Yeah.
we will sponsor the shit out of it.
Let's have a bidding war.
Now, whoever comes up first,
And
I
you'll
don't
say
care.
their name like 20 times.
Sennheiser,
Yeah.
sure
Sure. Sennheiser.
can.
Sure can.
Sennheiser, you can't really get
Sennheiser.
Sennheiser
No.
in that. It's like Sennheiser Light. No, that's Bud
Nope,
Light.
with Bud Light.
Yeah,
Ultimate ears.
Ultimate Ears.
Guys.
The logo will be down here.
Down here somewhere.
So,
Yeah.
yes,
Guys, thanks so much for being on.
yes.
Thank you for having
Really
us.
appreciate it.
And we appreciate the fact that you guys you'll put us up when we come to Vegas.
Oh,
You know,
Oh,
just
yeah.
just one room.
100%. As long as you guys don't mind sharing a bed.
Oh, no.
Depends on who we with. I'll share with Chris, I guess. I mean,
Okay.
we can cuddle.
There's always the floor.
I'll pass.
That's fine.
I'll pass. You suck.
Wow. I like her more and more.
1 hour, 22 minutes, and 14 seconds. Invited to
heard.
house for barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got one from Rick Latham.
Rick
We're
Latham.
going down to South Carolina. We're going to go to his house for barbecue.
Yep.
This is like that
That's gonna
episode
be
of The
Nice.
Office. Yeah, it's like that episode of The Office where she goes, "Yeah, anytime, come on down." And he's like on the phone booking the flight.
Yep.
Just to let you know, I'll be down next week. She's like, "Oh, bless your
Well,
heart."
Well, we did.
We got a hot tub.
But we
You
did
guys
send-
bring
we-
your
we-
swimmies.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
yes,
Yep.
Well, we did send to Tora a pizza.
we did send to Toro Pizza.
Oh,
Ah, nice.
you guys are so sweet.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's
We
great. You're paying for
That's
the pizza now. You're sending it to them now.
All right.
So when we roll out of here, don't go anywhere. We're going to roll our credits and say their goodbyes, but leave your camera up and wave when we say your name, and then stick around because we've got to get some information from you. So
Oh, and by the way, Samantha, that's my daughter. She said hello.
Hi,
Hi.
Samantha.
See, there you go.
Does she play drums?
She'd like to.
no,
But
should
she
play
doesn't.
bass.
no, but she's a collector. She
She
collects everything.
She collects everything.
You have any gone bops with your heads on them yet? Or not? Is that what they're
Any
called?
what,
Go
sorry?
bops?
No.
Well, that's fucking things
Oh,
called.
the Funko.
Funko bops. Whatever.
Funko
Oh,
Pop.
gone bops, the little drummer
Right.
thing. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Funko Pops.
Avril just put out a post like yesterday or something with
Oh, she's going to have one?
it's
Amazing.
on her Instagram.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Okay.
reach out to Avril and see if you can grab one signed by the artist.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, or
At least
clip.
he could sign it.
Yeah, well, you
Yeah.
could just sign it. Yeah,
It won't matter.
yeah, and then we'll have
Oh,
it.
we'll get one with us on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
Yep.
Snogging,
Snogging.
Yeah.
snogging, snoggle bops.
God.
I said
You guys are the
Funko.
best.
I said
heard you say
I said
Funko.
Funko. There's an N in it. Just anyways. roll the credits.
Get going.
Roll the credits before we get in trouble.
G-boo. G-boo.
Nice. Where are we?
I love this. Okay, let's do this.
All right.
You've been listening to The Good,
The Band.
The Ugly. I'm Big Papa.
I'm Jeff. That's
And
Ashley.
That's
Chris.
Ashley and Chris. And they're waving. They're not snogging.
No.
Thank you so much for watching the show, listening to the show. We want to thank our sponsors, Auk Medical Supply, Sharky's Event Center, DJ Life's a Son of a Beach,
Good Nature Brewery, Uncle Jimmy's live local music,
Print Shop Underground,
Snarky Productions,
Coffee
and
Break Coffee, and of course, Ultimate Ears. Next week we got more of the same, and we leave every show with the same saying.
Yes.
Please be good to each other. Don't be dicks.
Yep.
And that's it. Peace out.
Recording stopped.
Shut up.
Don't wanna.
Recording stopped.